What's going on today, you guys? Today we're going to take a look at how I like to set up my drums. Let's get right into it. Alright you guys, so the very first thing I look at when I sit down at a new drum set is seat height. So the way I adjust the seat height is I try to get the upper leg level to the ground. When I'm sitting up with correct posture, this leg is just about level to the ground. And the way I adjust the seating position, which is where the seat actually is I try to get it somewhere in between both of the pedals, and I try to get the upper leg at just about a 90-degree angle from the lower leg. So the lower leg is just about straight up and down from the pedals, and yeah, the seating position looks just about perfect for me. So the next thing after the seating position that I like to take a look at is the snare drum position. And I kind of have a weird snare drum position because I like it to have a little bit of a tilt towards me, but I always want my hands to be able to be at a 90-degree angle at the drum. So for instance, with traditional grip, both arms at the elbow are at just about a 90-degree angle, and same thing with match grip. So I can be just right in that relaxed position and have the snare drum right where I want it to be. If it was too high, I might be hitting rim shots instead of doing that. And if it's too low, I'm going to be down at an angle like this. So the snare drum right now is right at just about the position I want it to be. Arms are at a right angle, looking good. Alright you guys, so the next thing I always like to look at is the position of the floor tom. So with my seating position dialed in and my snare drum position dialed in, I usually try to get the floor tom as close to the height as possible to the snare drum. So with all the legs all the way out, it would look something like that, which is right about level with the snare drum. But what I like to do is angle it towards me a little bit. And what this allows us to do is just have better flow between the drums. So that's how I like to set up my floor tom, and I usually have it almost touching the bass drum up here, and just as tight as I can get it in with these two. And I still have room for my knee in here. So the floor tom is all dialed in. All right, you guys, so the next thing I'm gonna look at, of course, is the position of the rack tom here. And the rack tom, how I like to set it up at least, is I like to put it at a little bit of an angle towards me and also at a little bit of an angle towards the floor tom. And once again, what this allows for is just the best flow possible between the drums. And the angle a little bit towards the floor tom also especially allows for not hitting this main cymbal when you're playing it with your left hand. So that's why I have it at a little bit of an angle to the right and at a little bit of an angle towards me. And also with the height itself of the rack tom, I like to have it just about this much above the snare drum. And that allows for the best flow for me, so I can do things. So as you can probably tell, flow is very, very important to me, especially between these three drums. And that basically just means getting the least amount of effort possible when moving between each drum, so that you can play as fast as you need to or as slow as you need to, and not have to use very much effort at all. So next on the list of setup here are these two pedals. And basically what I want to be able to do is be able to draw a line from here to here so that one foot isn't way out further than the other. So when I put my feet down here, neither foot is really exerted. Both feet are just at a natural position like this, and neither foot is working too hard, and that's just about perfect for hi-hat and bass drum pedal setup for me. All right, you guys, so next up on this list is none other than the all-important cymbals. So the first one I always look at, of course, is my main ride cymbal. So when I'm sitting up straight, as always, we want to have this right angle in the elbow here. So when I'm playing, I have a very relaxed right angle in my elbow here. And I'm making sure that my wrist is not way tilted like this or like this. The wrist is basically at a neutral position and it can move either way from there. And you want to be at just about a right angle here. So when I'm sitting up straight, so basically the same thing goes for this right cymbal. I want to be able to ride on it. It's not quite as important as this main one, but you still want to have a relatively right angle here, and you want to not have a super cocked wrist like this. So, and once again, in this neutral position kind of in the middle of the stroke here, you want to have a neutral wrist position so that it can move either way. So, One more thing that I consider with this cymbal is making sure that it's not in the way of either of these. And this involves both the height so that it can't hit either of these. And also it could be in the way of this drum. And same thing with the hi-hat. If it's this close to the hi-hat, when you're hitting the hi-hat, it could potentially be in the way there. So you want to make sure it's out of the way of these two things, high enough so it's out of the way, and far enough away so it's out of the way of these two things. Right there is basically how I like to set these two up. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the short little drum setup video. And just with one last little caveat, I'm a very tall guy. I'm 6'6". So if you try to copy this exact drum set setup, it probably won't work for you. But I gave you all these things like angles, having the upper legs flat to the floor, having the wrists at a neutral position, and all these things should help you no matter what size you are. If you're a 1-year-old, if you're a super tall basketball player, anything like that. So with that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you out. If it did, I would really appreciate it if you go down below and hit that subscribe button. And also with the subscribers, thank you guys so much. After this last video, we hit 1,000 subscribers, and it really means a ton to me. I can't believe this many people want to watch my videos, but I'm really grateful that you guys do. So thank you all so much again, and I'll see you in the next one.